Today we're taking a look at the Milwaukee Bucks vs Atlanta Hawks match, which is happening on Tuesday, June 29, 2021, and giving you my betting tips and predictions in general on this game. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours and hours of your time searching the internet for some fake betting predictions and losing your money because of it. Join High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advices instantly. The Bucks kept fighting in Game 3 and were finally able to break through late in the fourth quarter. They had an awesome opportunity with Young injuring his ankle, and they took advantage of it. The Bucks defense has stepped up as well. They adjusted their pick and roll coverage of Young after Game 1 and completely shut him down in Game 2. Middleton was excellent for the first time into this series, scoring 38 points from 15 for 26 shooting from the field, including several clutch three-pointers down the stretch. The Bucks will hope for him to stay hot if they want to finish off the Hawks. After non-existent bench production in Game 1, Bobby Portis and Pat Connaughton have really stepped up in the previous 2 games. Portis brought some much-needed minutes and scoring with 15 points in Game 3. And Connaughton was a plus 25 in 32 minutes. But if history has taught us anything, it'll probably be back to taking a seat way in the back for Middleton on Tuesday after his recent offensive splash. That would have been a problem in the past, but the Bucks have Drew Holiday to balance everything out now. The standout guard had his worst night throughout these playoffs on Sunday, but it went relatively unnoticed because the team still came away with a victory. I wouldn't expect that slump to last in Game 4 considering all of the attention Antetokounmpo is going to get when attacking the rim. The Greek freak is like a magnet pulling every defender to the center before he kicks the ball out to open shooters, or in some cases, plays bully ball and goes through bodies to get to the rim. Milwaukee is the #1 ranked scoring offense in the league, but the biggest reason for their success in this series is the complete domination in the front court. They were plus 15 on the boards in rebounds in the previous game, and they are feasting on high percentage buckets in the paint. As long as they continue to do those things, the Hawks won't even have a fighting chance. Young has been one of the league's breakout stars during this playoff run. Even though he finished with an efficient stat line in Game 3, he was visibly affected by the ankle injury in the fourth quarter. He went 1 for 4 from the field for 3 points and had a plus and minus of -15 in the fourth. The Hawks had a small lead after the third quarter but only put up a measly 17 points and blew the lead to the Bucks. It's pretty amazing to see the Hawks entering this game as 7-point dogs on their home floor. If anything, it just shows how deep of a hole they find themselves in against a vastly superior Bucks team. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the sleeping giant has finally awoken, and it won't be pretty for the Hawks. Home underdogs off a double-digit loss in a playoff series are 15-40, 27.3% ATS since the 2016-2017 season, per the Sports Data Query Language Database. This is active as a fade against the Hawks. Even though the game was a lot closer than the final score indicated, these teams that suffered big defeats tend to struggle the game after. Things will get even uglier with Young hobbled with a foot injury. This isn't some big man with limited mobility in the paint. Young is the ball general for the Hawks at the point. He's constantly moving with or without the ball in his hands to help his team create offense. Can he realistically do that on a bad foot for 37+ minutes in a game? Teams off a playoff series loss as home underdogs when they had a lead after the third quarter are 5-17, 22.7% ATS, per the SDQL database. This is active as a fade against the Hawks. Again, teams that are in this situation don't tend to bounce back from a demoralizing loss. That's the biggest concern for the team heading into Tuesday's matchup. There's also the fact that Giannis Antetokounmpo is throwing bodies out of the paint like a bouncer at a nightclub. He's basically forcing his way to the basket and taking whatever he wants: rebounds, buckets, fouls. Even if Young does play, the thought of him being limited on the floor is a daunting one for a Hawks team that has depended on his unique ability to create plays for offense. That would heap even more pressure on the rest of the roster in head-to-head meeting with the Bucks defense that has been suffocating. The Hawks had an incredible run and even stole a win in the opener. But the writing is on the wall for this series now. I'm laying the points and taking Milwaukee. So much of what the Hawks do offensively is predicated around Young's ability to put an opposing defense on skates. It was the superpower that made this deep playoff run even possible for the Hawks. John Collins and Clint Capella have to win in the front court for the Hawks to come away with another upset. They need more rebounds and second-chance buckets. This game will have to simply come down to them wanting it more. My betting advice is to pick Milwaukee Bucks, -7. Chris Middleton scored 20 of his playoff career high, tying 38 points in the fourth quarter, leading the Bucks to a 113-102 victory over the Atlanta Hawks on Sunday. The Bucks trailed most of the game before surging in the fourth quarter. Middleton scored 10 points in the decisive run in the fourth that gave Milwaukee the lead. He added 11 rebounds and 7 assists. "I just finally got them to go," Middleton said to the Associated Press after the game. "I've been struggling some with the ball going in the basket. Finally, they started dropping for me at the right time. I'm thankful for that." Even though the Hawks are a tremendous team at home, I do not think they can overcome the previous game's demoralizing loss. Young and Bogdanovich are both not at full strength. Their role players and bench are not strong enough to match up with the Bucks. The betting public will be pounding the Bucks. I agree with laying the points, and I recommend pouncing on this line at Bucks -6.5 before it creeps up past 7. Giannis Antetokounmpo was on the injury report as probable with left calf tightness but did not appear to be affected by the injury. He had 11 rebounds and played 41 minutes. Giannis was only 6 of 13 for the game from the line, after being peppered relentlessly by the home crowd for taking way too long at the stripe. He has had his problems, but they were not glaring enough to make a difference with Middleton dominating. 7 is considered a key number in the NBA. Since the 2016 to 2017 season, 7 is the most common margin of NBA games. If the game is winding down and the margin is 6 or below, it is still within a 2-possession game. Therefore, teams will tend to continue and try to score. If it is 7 points or greater, teams tend to wave the white flag and opt not to foul. Trae Young scored 35 points for Atlanta while John Collins added 13 points and 8 rebounds as they fell in Game 3. Trae Young was slowed in the final period. He stepped on an official's foot late in the third and injured his right ankle. Young remained seated on the court for a few seconds after his ankle injury before heading to the locker room. He returned with 8:44 remaining in the game. He will have an MRI on the ankle on Monday. It didn't take a keen observer to see that Trae was not the same after twisting it. "It's hurting. It's frustrating," Young said to the AP after the game, adding the injury impacted his blow-by speed. After never leading in a 125-91 Game 2 loss, the Hawks were eager for a better start in their first home game of the series. The Hawks stretched the advantage to 13 points after sloppy first half play by the Bucks, but John Collins got into foul trouble in the third, and Young's aforementioned injury occurred. My second betting advice is to pick under. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.